Hey guys, it's Jason, the creator of I Am Legion for Dying Light, and I have our update for 1.6 ready for launch, and I wanted to run through really quick and outline some of the things that are part of this update. So this part of the update was focusing on humans along with more of the physics updates. So this one did take care of some of the physics problems that were left over in the game. So one of the things that I've been researching is this concept of hit reaction physics, which are based on more of the reactions we got from Dying Light 1. So if you watch as I interact with these zombies, you can see now that we get solid ragdoll animations, or blended animations with our ragdoll. The heavier the weapon, the more damage is done as far as the ragdoll and the time that it takes for them to get back up. You can see here if we try to take on multiples at the same time, we can actually take down multiple enemies now and damage those legs. Now I'm going to be balancing everything out now that I've got the ragdoll animations working to where the hit reactions based on where you're hitting, broken bones, damage to the limbs. All of that is coming in this next update after 0.6, where I'll be trying to rebalance some of these systems to bring this to an even more realistic version here in the future. In addition to working on the physics, I've also been actively looking at some of the animation, or not animations rather, but the AI again for the different creatures throughout the world. And one of those that I've been looking at is basically the noise systems in the game and how we can move on to actually create more interesting reactions and environments for both our human and viral AI. So I've got an update in now where we will have more intense AI. So these AI will move faster, they will do more damage, and they will also be searching is the goal right now. So I'm working on the code a little bit at a time where I'm trying to make these guys actually go and search the map, look for you, and actually speed up here. So you can see he's actually moving fairly rapidly, and I've messed with things like cooldown speeds and that kind of thing to try to get a more reactive AI to where they're more dangerous. Switching over to the human side, so I've been working pretty hard at trying to update our human systems as well. So first I'm starting with the bandits and a couple of the other groups, basically trying to balance out their intelligence first. So please provide your feedback and let me know what you're seeing as far as the human AI and what kind of interactions you're getting. But basically they should be able to actually go and search a little bit easier. They should be able to go and patrol. I've updated some of their information to where they should be also actively, when not searching, they should fall back and they should respond to these enemy virals and infect it a little bit more realistically. I actually had a really solid interaction the other day when I was doing testing where a group of survivors near the bazaar heard me in a fight with the zombies. They actually came running up to help. And now with these different physics systems and everything, there was actually a really awesome exchange of fighting where you really didn't know who was going to win, and that was really the goal here, is trying to create those interactions where these survivors in the case are actually taking down the enemies. They're not just standing around in a circle, but they're actively involved in the world and trying to take out these zombies. And as I continue to balance these zombies out, it's going to be a challenge to continue to try to balance out the human AI. So as you can see here, it's pretty easy for them to get overwhelmed. So I'm continuing to look at weapon systems and different things that we can give them so that they will flee, or they will fall back, or they will call for help based on the number of zombies that are coming after them. Or maybe they will just really will get overwhelmed like these two guys that got caught out in the open. When you have a group of enemies now use the reinforcement system, a lot of this AI it really depends on the noise systems that are in the game. So as I mentioned, I've worked pretty hard to try to balance those out, but just be aware of things like call for help and those kind of systems. I've updated those systems to where they will actually bring down the map on top of you as well. So you can call for help, you can try to bring in more aid, but at the same time you're now putting yourself at risk of waking up more zombies that are around and bringing in more zombies. Now, I have been working really hard to try to make sure that this is not just spawning zombies into the map, but rather bringing zombies down on top of you as you're running around. So the idea here is that you should be able to clear streets, you should be able to clear areas. I do not want it to be where you just have a countless number of zombies constantly spawning, and so you're never able to get an upper hand. And so I do want to try to continue to balance that out to where you can actually, you and your friends in co-op can get together and actually go and start clearing this world and taking back the streets, especially with this number of zombies. The idea is that just like these gangs, they're taking back the streets, you and your friends should be able to do the same. The only caveat is that if you do cause an explosion, if you do make a lot of noise, as you can see here, it will bring down more more zombies and virus in the map. And so a lot of those systems have been balanced out to try to make that more interesting. I've also worked pretty hard on the special infected. So the special infected in the night will also be more intelligent. I'm going to go ahead and take one for the team here. I've also, while this is respawning, I'll go ahead and mention that I am continuing to work on the configuration data. That's not quite ready to go. So basically what I'm doing is I'm setting up configuration files where you, the user, will be able to make decisions about what type of data you would like to use or what kind of settings you would like to use for density and other settings that I found in the game. The challenge with this is that basically there's an access, a read and write access timing situation here where you're not able to really access values that have already been called. So if they've already been set by the system, I'm having difficulty with kind of a timing thing if you're doing it additively, and so because of that, it's kind of an ongoing research project. But I am looking for things like the ability to tie into the main menus and interact with those systems a little bit better so that you're not having to actually open up zip files, you're not having to make edits inside of the actual archives, but rather are able to make those setting changes from inside the main menu. I think that would be probably the most ideal for both myself and others. And I'm also looking at concepts, if I can't get this, but at an early stage, also looking at this concept of being able to share configuration files. So if you make a really fun configuration file that you like, you can share that with your friends, and then you guys can use that configuration file in your playthrough. So you guys can kind of customize this experience to be one that you enjoy the most. So what we're waiting on here is that when you sleep, it actually starts at 1900. The zombie layers don't actually, for night, don't actually start until 1930. And so these systems are starting to kick in. You see that right now it just turned on the actual night. So now the infection is starting to kick in. So we'll use this time to see if we can spawn some special infected and showcase those improvements. So one of the ones that I focused on directly were cooldowns for each one of the zombies and their attack speeds and movement types to try to make these guys more reactive to the environment, to try to make them more of a threat and try to clear up some of this current system, which there's this idea that in this game that's similar to the first game that I did go in there and change for Dying Light 1. There's this system in here as well of this fallback kind of system that basically says, you know, hang on, let's fall back to where the player can get a second to catch his breath kind of thing. You know, enemy groups of bandits will actually fall back from the user and allow you time to recover kind of thing so that you can continue to fight. These are all things that I'm trying to look at in the mod to make sure that that's not the case. so that you're actually in more of a challenge. I actually want you having to constantly be aware of the tactics that you're using, fall back to different areas, and keep moving. I don't want a system where, you know, one bandit out of 9 walks up and attacks, and then another bandit out of 9 walks up and attack. Rather, I want to start seeing behaviors where they're trying to flank you and they're trying to get behind you, and if they actually get behind you, then you have to worry about them actually trying to take you down. And so those kind of systems are what I'm currently working on. So we've already kind of taken a look at him, so let's see if we can find another interesting and special infected here. Looks like we got 2 in the same area. As you can probably see, he's moving a lot faster, so he's no longer slowly walking around the map. He's actually highly agitated and moving around. The goons on the roof problem is still there. It's not as bad, but basically I do have working goons up, or not goons, but howlers up on the roofs now, so that you will have more of a challenge of walking through an area that does have a howler. So walking across the roofs is not always the safest. Let's see if I can move a little bit further out. This is probably a bad idea. Another one that I've been working on is the spitters, trying to make the spitters and the howlers more reactive to where they're actually moving around the map and attacking you, to where they're not so static in the scene, just kind of shooting up at you, but actually reactive and moving around the scene. And I was hoping that I would be able to find a banshee. I don't have enough time right now to actually go and search for all these different zombies, but please let me know your feedback. Let me know what you guys are running into, what you're seeing in the field, and I look forward to hearing all your guys' comments and feedback. This has been Jason, and this is I Am Legion. This is the Ultimate Survivor 0.6. Thank you.